Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweety and Sweety are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two Sweety sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweety with an IE.
And I'm Sweety with a Y.
Coming in the Christmas season 2019.
Christmas time,
La 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 la.
time is here.
So we've somewhat run out of Christmas movies. You know, we've done all our real heavy hitters. This is our third season of Christmas movies in the podcast. And you know, we've done most of our favorites, you know, like Home Alone,
Babes in Toyland.
like the Santa Claus.
Was that one of our favorites?
Well, we did that last year.
Are those the only Christmas movies we've done?
I can't
This
like
seems
think of,
strange.
yeah, no, we did a whole month of them.
Scrooged.
Scrooge.
No, I think that we ran out. The Santa Claus, the movie or whatever.
Yep, we did. Yep, that was the
fan
year before
pick.
that. So we don't have like too many. And good that we've been saving this particular one because it's pretty popular. Even though someone over here, cough cough, Sweetie has not really seen it. So we're excited to bring you today. It is Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon.
Longest Christmas vacation I ever heard of.
Yeah. What the fuck? What family shows up like 2 weeks before? That's insane.
Terrible.
So Christmas Vacation from 1989. So this follows the canon of the National Lampoon movies starring Chevy Chase. You know, we've covered two of them already. Mm-hmm. We've covered Vacation, just Vacation, straight
Vacation.
up. Excellent film. We've covered European Vacation. Excellent film. Today, we covered Christmas Vacation. So, you know, we're just running through these. Not in order because we did European Vacation first, actually. But Christmas, I will say, is the one I've definitely seen the most. It has now become a Christmas classic if you were, you know, born and grew up like in our time. I feel like it's a favorite of I know many of my friends and many people that I know. It's a goodie, and I think the best vacation movie of the vacation movies. Wow. I will say it right here right now.
Why what is your argument?
Well, I'm not sure if it's because I've seen it the most and I'm most familiar with it, but I just think it's like pretty. It's just fucking funny. I mean, I like Vacation, and there's certain parts of European I like too, but I think like everybody relates to this Christmas Vacation one in some ways because of just not everyone's Christmas experience is the same, but everyone kind of has, you know, as in this country and in society, like this idea of Christmas and in-laws coming and all this shit and the trees and the lights and blah blah blah. So I think it hits home for a lot of people, and it's just hilarious. I think it's quite well done.
Wonderful. So yeah, I definitely have seen this, but maybe not all at one time. But but most parts I did remember, and I don't know if it was because I was it was one of those movies where you guys were watching it, and I'd be like kind of paying attention, kind of playing with my toys or whatever, and being like, I don't know about that. Like, I'd rather play with my Barbies or something. Like, I don't know. It may have been something like that, or did it stress me out too much because it's one of those everything goes wrong movies that is just a little mentally exhausting for me, or is it because of the sad cat death? I don't know. I could have had PTSD and
you had
not want to watch it.
Relationship with that cat. You saw
Excuse
it for like
me,
a second.
I am the one that found our dead cat under the car, electrocuted when I was little. I think that I may have had an experience.
Even there is a sad cat death, and very much like Vacation, there's a sad dog death.
What the fuck?
They make it so you like really don't like the animals
I don't know
because
anything about that cat.
Like, well, the cat was like kind of that bitchy,
He was just working his play. He was just biting the biting the light.
It's a stereotypical bitchy white cat
and he
that
got
is
stuck
like
in a box.
Yeah, I know, but it's just and like the
And
vacation
shook around a lot.
No, it's not. You're not connected to it. It's fine. It's funny.
Animal deaths are never funny, and I wish people would just not include them. Like there's I don't see comedic value in it. It's just sad.
Stop being a
just
bleeding
sad.
heart. So Sweety, like, not as familiar with this. I've seen this movie like 100 times. I think it's really good. Good cast, can't go wrong with Chevy Chase being your lead man. This is the role he's known for, probably of all his roles, right? Nails it as Clark Griswold. Did you know that? I mean, there's a big section of this movie is him lighting up his house and going all nuts with the lights, and it's like now a adjective to be like, wow, you really Griswolded it or something.
Oh,
Went over the top.
Who says who?
I don't know. Oxford American Dictionary.
Where'd you read that?
Trivia.
On IMDb?
Yeah.
Huh. I bet like one guy says that and then like put it in IMDb trivia.
Totally.
What a loser.
So for these vacation movies, so it's always Chevy Chase and then his wife, played by Beverly D'Angelo. Excellent. And the funny thing about these, though, is that all the other characters change. So there's not any other than Cousin Eddie and Cousin Catherine. You have all the other actors not only changing the people who play them, but like maybe how old they are. Sort of fluid.
Yeah. It's just a little confusing. And I don't know if it was like intentionally like that or like the kids couldn't do the next one after the first one, and so they just like went with it and just got new ones every time. Or
well, it's like they don't want the kids to grow up. They kind of want them to stay the same
don't
age.
want them to grow up too much.
Yeah,
but it's not like Ellen and Clark are growing up. I don't know. Like, what is this supposed to be the time between? What is?
Well, it's like the vacation one. They were what, middle school, maybe going into high school. They were definitely in high school in the European vacation one. Now this one, it seems like Audrey. Yeah, it seems like Audrey this one is older, and Rusty is like a little middle schooler.
Yeah, he seems like a baby.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's just like who they chose to play those roles. Anyway, so the kids in this one are Juliette Lewis, and
It's very confusing.
What? That the kids change?
No, that it's Juliet. The two names that I mess up as actresses are both in this movie.
Yeah. So Juliette Lewis is Audrey, bitchy Audrey. And then Johnny Galecki from Big Bang Theory now is tiny little fetus Rusty. Like, so cute. I love him in this. He's my favorite Rusty.
Wow.
Yeah. He just like
Rusty.
has funny like exchanges with Clark that I think like really work out. You also have as the next door neighbors A Brilliant Turn by Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Margot and her boyfriend Todd. Great choice of names for those two. Like, it wouldn't be half as funny if they had any other names, I feel like.
Well, it's the way she delivers the like Todd, but yeah, they're very like yuppie names.
Yeah.
For sure.
You have Doris Roberts of Everybody Loves Raymond fame. Everyone's like favorite mother-in-law. I mean, was that
Tanner's
woman's
mom.
role? Yeah.
She's Danny Tanner's mom.
Totally.
Granny Tanny.
What?
Granny Tanny was her name.
Granny Tanny. That's cute.
Yeah.
Returning in the role of Eddie, Randy freaking Quaid. What a weirdo.
Weirdest guy on the block.
So fucking
Listen
weird.
to our other podcast about Randy Quaid for more information.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
He's off the grid.
I mean, whatever. He's always good, but like,
I just don't think he's acting. I think that's just
I
like
think it's
who
him,
he
too.
is.
And he is like, and I'll talk about this extensively later, like one of the grossest characters like in the history of cinema. Like, it should be on a fucking entertainment list.
I don't know.
Of something.
I kind of warmed to him toward by the end. I was like, oh, that was sweet. He did what Clark wanted. And
Yeah, but like the whole other parts of the movie, I'm like, stop being so gross.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
so
gross.
nasty. You have BDM, Brian Doyle Murray, guys.
Isn't that like a BDS or like something bondage? Something.
Who is that killer, the serial killer?
BTK.
Yeah. No, BDM, Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother, but, always kind of these little secondary comedic roles in tons of films. Excellent as the jerky boss. Very, very cool. And then finally, the woman who plays Aunt Bethany, guys, is the voice of Betty Boop.
can't believe she's still alive.
She was in 1989.
I know,
This
that's
was
what I
her
mean.
last movie.
I know, that's what I mean.
That woman's name is Mae Questel. Mae Questel.
Quetzalcoatl.
Very cool. She's fucking funny in this. But Betty Boop, guys.
Betty Boop.
Dang. So good cast. Written by John Hughes, obviously. So this is like his whole jam, right? And very similar to Vacation. This was a story that he wrote for National Lampoon magazine of his actual family, Real Christmas. It's called Christmas 59.
Wait, did all these things happen?
Yeah. No, because it's like the Vacation one that I kind of gave a summary of. Like, I'm sure some of this stuff happened, but I don't think like
Did the squirrel happen?
a squirrel could have been in the tree. I mean,
It's very possible.
but isn't also National Lampoon like he based it on maybe some stuff, but like he also was like lampooning it, like he kind of exaggerated
I
it.
don't know.
And then directed by some nobody. I don't know who the fuck it is. But if you remember from when we did Home Alone, I reminded Sweety of this. Chris Columbus was the original director of this movie. Shot the movie for like 2 days and was like, I fucking hate Chevy Chase. I cannot work with him. Get me the fuck out of here.
What's the problem?
They just didn't get along. They butted heads, and I don't know like what the deal is with Chevy Chase if he's like notoriously difficult to work with. I can see it. Like it's not surprising to me. I wouldn't be like, oh wow, he seems so nice, because I think he could be kind of a nutter. But
Sure. Yeah.
so then some other guy directed it, and then that's how Chris Columbus got to direct Home Alone, though. So godsend.
Because he still wanted to direct a Christmas movie?
Yeah, and I think another John Hughes project, which Home Alone was.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I remember now.
I mean, the guy, John Hughes, I mean, I think we talked about this when we've done a couple John Hughes movies. I mean, he's like, has fingers in everything. He's so many screenplays, so many stories, and like you forget that it's not just those Brat Pack movies, that like he actually is involved in the writing of many other stories and stuff. So very cool.
Yeah.
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. We just did that one.
We just did it. John Hughes. Is BDM in that? No.
BDM. No. Are you sure?
I don't know.
Was he a guy at the hotel? He must be buds with John Hughes, or
I
was.
don't think he was a guy in the hotel. I don't know. Well, has he been in other?
Well, he was in
John
the
Hughes
first National Lampoon. He was the guy at like one of the hotels. That's why I said that.
He was?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
But yeah, I think a lot of parts came back to me while watching this, and it's funny how that happens. You're just watching it, and then you're like, I know what's going to happen next because I remember this. So I did have that quite a bit.
Did you enjoy the experience?
Yeah, again, I find it's kind of so. I think that where I appreciate the National Lampoon's stuff is when it's like less slapsticky and more like silly, like not silly, but like I don't know, like the Julia Louis-Dreyfus stuff and the I don't know, like you can only watch Chevy Chase like stepping on a board and hitting him and like falling through roofs and off the
I would agree
the
with
ladder
that.
so many times, you know. We're like, okay, where's some more stuff? Like I like this. I mean, the squirrel in the tree was pretty funny. But yeah, it's like
No, but like the simple slapstick stuff, I agree. Like doesn't
right, yeah,
just kind of
it's
gets
very like
tiring.
it just seemed very like novel to me. Like it just like very like Charlie Chaplin. It's just funny to me that we're still doing that. Like Three Stooges stuff and like in these movies and you know, get a new thing. And you don't see that a ton anymore except in really stupid comedies nowadays, right?
Right.
I feel like we've upgraded a lot to more intelligent humor.
I will say with this one, like I feel like you don't get as much of a backstory of like Clark's like real life. So you learn in this one that he's like works at this job which is like seems sort of science based. He works at like a food additive company, and like he has made this like cereal varnish, non-nutritional cereal varnish or something. I don't know, seems complicated. But in the other ones, you know, he obviously is on vacation for both of those, so he's not like working, so you never see his like day to day. So you're like, also, okay, he has like a job and he could be smart. Why is he so dumb?
And he just like works at like a regular desk though. Like how does he do sciencey stuff?
Yeah, so
I
don't know how that works.
But I did know that because in the Vegas, I think it's the Vegas vacation, he's all excited because they found a way to make like milk stay fresh for like 10 years or something. And he like opens like the bag and like has everyone drink it. And he's like, "Bleh," and it's like disgusting. But he uses that money to take them on a trip to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay. Well, but I just feel like in the other ones, you're just like, okay, this is like one dumb dude. But now that you establish that he actually like goes to a job and is actually seems like pretty like competent at that job, that you're like, dang, like,
Does
why are you
Ellen
so
have a
dumb?
job?
Does Ellen have a job? I don't know. We don't get enough about her.
Yeah.
It's all about Clark.
It's all about Clark.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the plot of this zany film. Time for the sweet synopsis. Yeah, sweeties. It's a beaut, Clark. Dad, you taught me everything I know about exterior illumination.
Clark W. Griswold is on a mission to live the old-fashioned Christmas experience, family Christmas experience. And they start, as most holiday seasons do, with getting a tree, in which they appear to drive all the way to Colorado to get. Which, in realistic, I don't think they were actually there, but there's like these sprawling mountains and snowy sprawling mountains, and I was like, where the fuck in Illinois is this? But I looked it up. It is, in fact, Colorado. So, didn't trick me. Clark needs to find the perfect Christmas tree.
Maybe they really drove that far. Is that like the joke?
That's really far.
I know.
And then they like went back there to go sledding. So it's like, hello?
That's where they went sledding?
It seemed like it. There was also like crazy mountains and like stuff or whatever.
Well, it's like not defined. Well, it's only defined in the sense you know where they live from. Like he's wearing like a Bears hat. I mean,
lots
other
of
than
stuff.
That,
it's
they
all
don't say
bunch
it,
of
though.
Illinois sports stuff, and I think that you see the license plate, and I mean all his
You
movies
see
take
Detroit
place in Illinois.
Detroit. No. Chicago Blackhawks hockey jersey. Oh my god, I have the hiccups. This sucks.
Do you want to take a pause?
Maybe. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So on the mission to get the perfect tree, they go, out in the woods. He finds the biggest tree. It's like a full-sized evergreen
It's a tree.
Spruce. I don't know. I don't know the tree names, but it's giant.
Those trees that they like cut down to put in like the middle of
Rockefeller
Center, or like there's one in Boston. Like it's a real fucking tree.
Yeah. So they go to take it back, and Rusty's like, "Did you bring the saw, Dad?" And he's like, "Shit." So apparently they dug it, we think, out of the ground with their own bare hands, ? Because if you forgot to bring a saw, I highly doubt you remembered to bring a shovel.
Yeah.
So how did this tree get dug up? Keep in mind, tree roots go very far down, especially a tree that large. But, whatever. So they put it on the car. It, like, weighs the whole car down. Get it back to the house. It does not really fit in the living room. They, like, untie it, and the branches, like, fling out and bust all the windows. It's, it doesn't go great. But it's the first, like, okay, things are not going to go as smoothly as we would like them to. So now we have the families arrive, and as luck would have it this year, not only are Clark's parents coming, but Ellen's parents are coming also. They've decided to come to Christmas, and they're both staying with the Griswolds. So space is a little tight, it's just it's your classic two children, husband and wife house. So it's
3 bedroom,
not that big.
There's probably 4 bedrooms in that house.
4?
Well, where are Rusty and Audrey sleeping then? Probably.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't show it, but like, then why couldn't they stay in like Audrey's room? Like, if there was this other bed, why wouldn't they give that to one of the parents?
Yeah, that's
But I don't know where they were sleeping, but
maybe it's a pull-out couch.
maybe. So space is cramped, and P.S. it's like December 14th that these in-laws and their parents arrive. What the fuck? What are they gonna do for that long?
I don't know, and it's so funny because we never had that experience growing up. Like our Christmas experience was like Christmas Eve, we did stuff, and then we traveled to someone's house and like just celebrated one day. There was no like in-laws coming into town or anyone staying with us or anything, right? I mean, maybe like our grandfather stayed with us,
but I'm sure other people had experiences like this.
No,
obviously, John Hughes did.
Oh,
but
definitely, and it must be such a different experience to what obviously we're used to when we don't share like a holiday with anybody.
I just think it's funny, and then, like, it's not like they like. Obviously, I think Rusty and Audrey would still be in school like on December 14th. So, again, I'm just like very confused. So, anyways, the usual hijinks happen. Clark wants to make the lights like the best, so he spends literally all day staple gunning the lights to the house. Goes to turn them on, big drum roll, nothing turns on. Something's wrong with the lights. They can't figure it out. So he's really bummed, and he was like really excited about it. Later, someone flips like a switch in the garage or something, and the lights turn on. But they don't figure out that it's the light switch and it's this whole thing. And the lights are so bright that they make like all the lights in Illinois go out. And there's like and then they like have to do something and whatever. It's like, so. And this whole time, everything that Clark seems to do has a negative, adverse effect on his yuppie neighbors. So with the Christmas tree, not the Christmas tree, but the lights, he like knocks an icicle into their stereo and it breaks or something. And then for the lights, they're so bright, it wakes them up and they're blinded and they can't see and they fall down the stairs. And it's just like, it's, one of those things. It's always like that trope of like the bitchy neighbors, like getting their stuff. Bad things happen to them too. What other movie? It's like Addams Family, like like the judge or whatever.
But they're always jerks, They're not. Like,
they're usually jerks, so you're not like too sad about it. But it's good little side comedy for sure.
So while the family hijinks are going on, so it's all the trouble at home. Clark trying to make the best Christmas ever for everybody. He's obsessed with it, and it's like it's interesting with Clark because you're not sure. Like, yes, I think he in some ways has a good heart, but like, is he doing it for everybody else or is he really doing it for himself, to like get that feeling of like, I'm the best and I made everyone so happy in this. Like, it does seem like actually his ulterior motive is like sort of selfish. Yeah. Anyway, so the other side plot is that he's at work and he's waiting for this bonus. So apparently at this food additive company he works at, which is like a crazy company where the CEO gets like followed around by all these like other dudes and has this huge office with this like long table and like all this.
It's just like office culture in the 80s. See Baby Boom for more information.
Right, but like definitely like exaggerated a bit, I'm sure. So he's waiting for this Christmas bonus. Apparently, also the 80s, people got fucking Christmas bonuses. And he's gotten one every year. So with that in mind, he has decided to put an in-ground pool into his house. And has already put down the down payment and doesn't have enough money in his bank account for the check he wrote for this down payment for
this
pool.
When did he write the down payment? Wouldn't they have found that out already?
What?
Wouldn't they have tried to cash it already and like been like?
I don't know how checks work in 1989. Anyway, so he's waiting for that bonus so he can put it in his account and so his check can clear. So he's pumped. He's pumped. Fortunately, it doesn't look that good at the company. Some stuff happens. Like the CEO's kind of a dick. He never remembers his name. So you see like kind of that side of Clark's life where he's kind of like stressed out about his work stuff, but he's also like stressed out about family stuff and just like trying to make everybody happy all the time.
So Sweetie Confusion, when that scene, is that like the only way that we know that other than at the end when Clark tells the family that he was planning on doing the swimming pool, is that scene where he's like looking out the window and thinking about the swimming pool? Is that the only reason we know that?
He shows his coworker the plan.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
And then he makes a little model of the swimming pool.
I thought that was just like a fun swimming pool thing he had that like he liked to play with.
No, so he has like all the shit.
Sweetie Confusion, I thought because he was staring out the window that he was trying to like plan a family vacation to Hawaii because they were playing that Hawaiian Christmas song. It was confusing for me.
Kiki Maka.
Yeah. I didn't know, so now I get it. But yeah, that's the other conflict or the worry of Clark, I guess.
Right.
So, other little silly things happen. Clark gets like locked in the attic and literally falls through like every spot in the ceiling into the house. Like several parts of the house are broken at this point. I don't know when they fixed them. I guess they had enough time because it was December 14th that they all came. So
good thing they came early.
Yes, to get those windows fixed. As we all know, if you get a flat tire on the day before Christmas Eve, no one's open. So happened to us.
Well, if you do it in Ireland, nobody is open.
But then who should show up to make things even more complicated? Cousin Eddie and his wife Catherine. Who is Ellen's cousin. So they bring their RV, their beat up RV, and their 2 little weird kids, and just like
their weird dog.
Their weird dog Snot. Just freeloading and try to reap some of that Clark W. Griswold money. So now things are pretty crazy because they're like, okay, no more people can stay in this house. Don't worry though, Eddie's gonna stay in the camper with Catherine. Isn't it freezing in there? I'm confused. This whole movie is like it's obviously that they're filming like on a soundstage or something when they do those outside scenes because or maybe they did film it in Chicago and it wasn't
a real road.
But I think it was California. I think I looked in the filming locations and it was like Burbank because every time they go outside, there's like all this snow and you're like thinking in your head, okay, this is Chicago or like Illinois. It's supposed to be really cold there. And you don't see their breath. None of them decide to wear coats.
They don't have coats on.
And so you're like, what is happening? But anyways, so let's see. What else? And then who should show up also was this plant, the old aunt and uncle, who we think are the aunt and uncle of Clark's
so I think it's
parents?
Clark's great uncle and great aunt.
They were in the movie, the little like old movies he was watching in the attic when he got locked in the attic. He was like
Yes,
sad.
they were.
But why did they were they always planning to come or did they also just drop in?
Well, they had
Ellen
to be
didn't
picked
mention
up from the
her.
airport though.
Yeah. But why didn't they take that? And where did they sleep?
Were they sleeping over? Yeah, they must be sleeping over. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. But yeah, so they show up too, and so we have the last day. So the whole day is the whole movie is kind of based around what is it?
Leading up to
what is it? Advent calendar? Yeah. So you like open the little doors. So like they show
those.
you every. I know. I wanted to get one this. I always get those too late.
I know.
I always think of getting one like basically now, and I'm like, well, it's like fucking half over.
You should get one that you use every year. Ooh, Christmas gift idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
Great
one.
one.
Even though I like ones where you eat stuff, I saw someone recently had a wine one. That's a lot of wine.
A new bottle of wine
every day.
It's called alcoholism. Like what?
I mean, it's a cool idea, but like, I mean, I think they just kind of use it as a wine rack, but like, very cool. Anyway, so yeah, so it's an advent calendar. So that like every couple days they open it. So I think it starts like you said on like the 15th, and then it's the 18th, and it's the 21st, and then all of a sudden they're opening the middle door of this house, which is what the advent calendar is, and it's Christmas Eve, right? So it's like big night. They're having like a big Christmas Eve dinner. So they're all there. As Sweety said, Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis come from, Clark picks them up at the airport.
From wherever they're from.
Real old biddies. They're in their 80s. So assuming it's his, he's probably what, like 40? His parents are like 60. So these are like their aunt and uncle. So 80. And these old people are a fucking hot mess. Okay. First of all, Aunt Bethany I think she might have Alzheimer's or some sort of dementia.
Dementia, yeah.
Does
She
not
said something.
remember anything, is very fuzzy. Uncle Lewis really has his shit together, but he's a mean old bag and just like yelling at everybody.
Smoking cigars, just terrible toupee. Yeah, it's just like
a mess. So you have like Aunt Bethany coming in with a bunch of presents. One is leaking because she wrapped up her Jell-O mold. One is meowing because she wrapped up her cat. I mean, it's a fucking hot mess. So they unwrap the cat, and that's now running around chewing on Christmas lights on the tree. They go and have dinner, and apparently Cousin Catherine cooked the turkey, put it in for too long. Did she cook it for 3 days? Because when they open it, the thing is like, there's no meat inside. It's just like steam, dehydrated carcass. It looks beautiful
and
on
it
the
was
outside.
a giant turkey. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Poor
but
Catherine.
it's like a fucking mess. So that's like really sad. So they have like nothing to eat. And then
the tree catches on fire. So the tree's gone. So Clark cuts down a new tree from his front yard and brings that in. They're all sitting around the new Christmas tree, and they hear this like squeaking noise. And Clark looks in the tree, and it's a squirrel, a live squirrel, and it just like runs through the house. Everybody's screaming, and it just causes a mess. So after the squirrel incident, Ellen's like, okay, I think everyone should leave. Oh, and then Clark, a delivery boy comes, a courier, if you will, and is like, oh, I'm delivering something for Clark Griswold. Like it fell behind the seat, and I didn't see it. And Clark's super excited because he thinks that it's his Christmas bonus and that he did get it. And he tells everybody before he opens the letter.
Yeah,
Big
that was
mistake.
dumb.
Is like, oh, this is definitely my Christmas bonus. Good thing because I didn't have any money when I wrote this check for a down payment on a pool, and so blah blah blah.
I don't know how much that was.
And Ellen's like, what? And then he opens the envelope, and it's not a subscription, membership to the Jelly of the Month Club. How many different jellies can you get in a month?
This is. I wrote this fucking question down. We're playing it.
Here's okay. Great. So he's pissed. So he goes on this like crazy tear and is like, I would like that like son of a bitch to. It's kind of like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when Steve Martin has that freak out, and says the F word and like all these things.
That's when I was watching this. I was like, wow, Chevy Chase is really good at flipping out. And then I was like, we just talked about this, didn't we? But it was with Steve Martin, also a very good flip outer.
Good for them. And he says I wish he could come here and I would yell in his face and beat him up or I don't know or whatever.
And my one Christmas wish.
Oh yeah, he said it was his one Christmas wish.
Someone to tie that guy up, bring him here, put a big bow on him, and I want to tell him what I think of him. So someone takes that to heart.
So then Eddie's like, and then gets in his RV and drives away. And then, after this, Ellen thinks, okay, maybe everybody should go home before Clark gets really crazy. Because obviously she recognizes when Clark gets a little cray-cray. So she tries to send everybody home. And Clark's like, no, this is supposed to be the best Christmas ever. The old-fashioned Christmas, whatever. So then things calm down a bit. And they read the Polar Express or whatever.
The night before Christmas.
The night before Christmas.
We used to read the Polar Express.
Yeah,
that was our family.
I got confused. I got confessed.
Right.
And then he's reading the book, and then he sees Eddie pull in the RV with a guy. He's holding a guy in pajamas with a red bow, and he's like, uh-oh. And Eddie walks in with his boss, so BMD. And his wife, meanwhile,
BDM.
I was like, that can't be right. She has called the cops and been like, my husband's kidnapped. So the boss is pissed. He's like, you're fired, Clark. What is this? And Clark's like, listen, it's my fault. But you did a terrible thing. You didn't give us bonuses. And it would have been okay if you didn't give us bonuses, but you didn't tell us that you weren't giving us bonuses. So, whoa. And
apparently there's some industries where you factor in how much money you're making all year based on your bonus. Yeah. So that's okay.
It's a lot of those finance or kind of
sales jobs, right? You're used to making $80,000 a year, but technically you only get paid $60,000, but then really you're going to get $20,000 in bonus. I don't know what that's like. Okay. Not my industry, but he has a point. I mean, that's pretty rough, especially since he's worked there for 17 years and he's got one every other year. Jeez, no recessions, I guess.
Yeah. So it doesn't take too long to convince old,
BDM.
No, I was going to say
Mr.
Scrooge.
Mr. Shirley.
Ebenezer Scrooge, if you will. That was mean, and he immediately kind of flips a switch and is like, you're right, that was mean. How about whatever you made this year, get times it by 20% or whatever. So
add 20%.
Add 20%. That's a pretty good chunk of money.
So let's say he made $10,000 the year before that.
He only made $10,000 the whole year?
No, in a bonus.
Oh, I thought he meant his salary. No, 20% more.
I thought he meant 20% of the.
He said this year. He said whatever you made this year.
No, I thought he said whatever you made last year in the bonus, add 20%.
I don't know. We may have to play back the tape, but to me it sounded like 20% of his salary. So however much that is. So probably a lot.
Right? I can't do the math.
We don't do math in this house. In this house.
Well, I guess 20% of 10,000 would only be $2,000. That's not that great. Okay. Yeah, maybe you're right.
I'm always right. No. Just kidding.
Wait, so his bonus was more than his salary? I'm just confused.
Not usually, but because he did him so wrong, he's trying to be extra generous. My question is he going to do the same for all the other employees?
So if he made $50,000, let's say.
I'm sure Clark made $80,000.
20% of $50,000. That makes sense. You're right.
So Clark's so excited. Everybody's so excited. And then everyone's, meanwhile, the SWAT team has broken into the house. So now literally all the windows are broken. Only a couple were before, but now it's all of them. And
he's not going to have to use a bonus on the pool. It's going to have to house repair.
I know, seriously. And then the boss explains to the SWAT team, oh, it's okay. Yes, they kidnapped me, but I learned some things and whatever, happy ending. And they're all singing Christmas carols together. It's a great event. But yeah, that's like the movie pretty much. And we don't ever get to actual Christmas Day. We only get as far as Christmas Eve.
Well, we all know that that's the best day anyway.
Well, for us, but like
a lot of people like Christmas
Eve. A lot of
Eve
people,
better.
but some, I know. But I think
so
it's
much more
rare.
magical.
I think it's rare for a Christmas movie not to focus on the actual Christmas day.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, I think for me, like the Eve stands out because that's the night that
anticipation.
and the night Santa delivers the presents.
Yep.
I mean, Santa's done by Christmas Day.
It's true.
He's like putting his feet up.
He's
and
done. See
drinking
you later.
a Mai
See you
Tai.
next year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I in our house it was always the best day too. I mean, we had like Christmas morning was pretty fun, but then and the day was like okay, but it just seemed to go by so quick, and it was kind of like all the anticipation, and then the day was kind of like lazy and slow. So yeah, I just like the anticipation of Christmas Eve. So I like how it ended there because you don't see them opening presents or like anything like that. Interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, they do a lot of like classic Christmas events, right? So you have the tree cutting, you got sledding, you got putting up lights. You have family coming, family dinners, all that kind of dynamic.
Drinking
eggnog. Maybe present shopping. They show the family leaving to go shopping, but we don't see them actually shopping. But I mean that's what they were doing. So add that to the list. What else? I guess that's it. But it just seems, just like get these little like snippets of things that you associate with Christmas, with Clark's classic Christmas. So I did enjoy that. I thought it was sweet. Although it's been a long time since I've done most of those things, but it does get you. It does like get you in the mood though, and it's like it's a good snapshot of a typical Christmas.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think that our dad was somewhat of an over-the-top Christmas dad?
No. I don't think it was over the top at all. Like, I was trying to think of, like, we had Christmas lights, but nothing crazy because I don't think Dad had the like energy or like didn't.
We just
want
put
to
him around the bushes.
We had the little icicle hangy ones like in the front. He did put like the other one, the regular ones on one year.
I just remember the ones on the bushes.
I think our dad would go craziest for like presents and like I think that was like his main thing. He never like corralled us for Christmas activities or anything.
No, but he liked his Christmas Eve meal. But I think the decorating stuff he was really reined in because our mom was so like particular about a style and what she wanted. Like she did not like colored lights. Like she had to have the Christmas tree a certain way. Like I remember she's like, we're doing a bird theme this year. And we all had to get all bird ornaments and we had like glitter gold pears.
That was like 1 year and then we just had the gold theme for like 10 years.
Yeah, for 10 years. And meanwhile, we have like all these like sweet little like, homemade ornaments. And mom's like, oh my God, absolutely not. They like stayed in the box like, for years. Like my little feet that I made into reindeer.
We would put some of them on.
But then it was funny because then they had from when, they saved all their ornaments since they were together. And then obviously their first year were all like Americana, like little crafty ornaments that like they had gotten or mom had made. And it was just like such a different style.
Remember when somebody, I forget who did, but like somebody sent us, like the three of us, you, me, and Liz, like ornaments. And I had the squirrel.
I had the deer.
And Liz had...
The hedgehog?
Oh, yeah.
Those were cute.
I loved my little
I think
squirrel.
it was Ken and Debbie.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe there's a...
I will say we have, like, probably in terms of family stuff, like, the most Christmas memories, right? Like, thinking of all... Like, I can remember... I couldn't tell you, like, what... This was Christmas, like 87 or whatever. But, like, I remember Christmas memories, like, so
well. Because it's just the most exciting. Yeah. It's, like, the only holiday where you get, like, presents and, there's a... whole event and I don't know it's just so memorable.
And I feel like this was the way Dad was like a little bit crazy Christmas. We had videos of like so many of our Christmas mornings of us like opening presents and stuff, and it was awesome because they went from like when Sweety was like pretty little to when she was like not as little, so it was like really us growing up. I mean, I was little too, but not as like young. Like you were like 3 probably when we had like the first video. I want to say
4. I think it was 4.
No, Christmas '89. Yeah. That was the Nikki one. Yeah. So she was like really little, and like her reactions, and like one of my favorite videos is this one where she like so the best part is what the gift was.
Oh no, that was when I was older. That was when I had the puffin sweatshirt on, so I was older for that.
4 or 5?
Not 3. No,
So
probably
she-
like 6.
So she like wrapped up, or I don't even know if if she wrapped it.
I don't know. I bought Dad I helped pick them out at the store or something.
Yeah.
They're like, "What do you want to get Mom?" And I was like, "Pot
So
holders."
she gifted Mom pot holders, wrapped it up, and
somebody
then
else wrapped it up and put to Mom from Andre.
So Andre's like present hungry.
I couldn't read. I don't think I could read yet, but I could recognize my own name.
Oh.
So I saw my name on it and thought it was for me.
So she like, and like we're giving Sweety like all these presents. So she's the youngest, so she's obviously getting the most presents. So we're all like, oh, one for Andre, one for. So Andre's like huge amounts of presents. So she's just like ripping shit open and is like, yay! So she rips open the pot holders and is like totally confused. And then someone goes, "Those aren't for you. Those are for Mom." It was probably Liz, and like kind of yelled at you.
And I or Dad is like, "Those are, what are you doing? Those are for Mom." And like, I just like, you could see the look on my face when I unwrapped them. I was like, wait a minute.
So confused.
I bought these.
You like couldn't process it. You're like, wait, I bought these, but my name is on this. Like, what is this trickery?
And then I just like, literally for like 15 years of my life, anytime I was like something happened or like I made a mistake, I would just be like, "Ah," and do like this awful like cry. It sounded fake, but it was real, I promise.
Oh my gosh!
And it was a disaster. It was a disaster.
It was so my God, so funny. And then we have this one where like I adopted like a British accent for like the entire morning. I'm not sure why. So when I kept like commenting on things, I'm like, look, another piece of paint. Band. I must have been like watching some like fucking British
Avonlea
movies
or like something that like wasn't even British, but they like spoke in a weird like proper accent.
I was such a weirdo. I love it.
So fun,
Such
though.
a geek. And then
Good
I
times.
got the dorkiest presents. Like so I would be like a stamp collection. I would get like an atlas. I
Art
got like
books,
art books. I got like a safe one time. Oh my God.
But we did get our American Girl
that
dolls,
was big.
big year. Those little Quince dolls, we loved those.
Quince. They're 5 times more fun.
So fun.
So we had some real goodies, and like obviously like the best time of our lives was like Christmas, like by far.
So
It was
good.
like so fun.
And we'd wake up at like 5 a.m.
We'd go down and like there were there's
magic,
3
magic.
kids in our family, so obviously that's like a lot of presents. But our parents would like totally go to town, and like the whole bottom of like you could not even like see the floor. There were like so many presents. They were laid out like so nice, and it was just like Christmas morning was so fun when we were little. It was the
Yeah,
best.
I want to watch those. I should have brought them. I should have brought them. Do I have them? I should have brought them to Mom's house, and then her DVD player was broken. But you have a DVD player, so I should have brought them over and we could have watched.
My
them.
God, next time.
Next time. But yeah, man, so fun, so fun,
good.
so fun. Okay, so just a couple of quick observations, and I know we brought this up in the other National Lampoons, but I just want to reiterate the fact that Clark W. Griswold is a creep.
Such a creep.
But they do like a weird thing where like they have to put this scene in every one of these movies where some like hot girl with boobs like struts around, and
What's
Clark.
the European vacation one?
I don't know. I'm sure there's like a ton of like European babes around. Who knows? But anytime Clark sees like a suggestion of a breast, he completely loses his shit and is like, "I'm not married," and it's just like the weirdest fucking thing because for the other than that, they make Clark into this like wholesome family guy.
He's very devoted.
Who like loves
And he
Ellen
loves his wife.
and his kids.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know. It's just like, it just really bothers me about these movies. And it's too bad.
I know.
Too
I think they
bad.
should let it like just let that go, and you don't need it at all in here. I don't know why. Like, oh, like let's like establish him also as like a creep.
Adultery is so funny.
Oh, that's like so funny.
But then they have this scene where when Eddie's like little girl is like sees Clark looking out the window, like thinking about the lady at the department store who he was attracted to or whatever. And then he has this like really touching conversation with her about like Santa and how she doesn't really believe him because they never get presents. So like, and they're always good, but they never get presents. And it's like really depressing. And I'm like, are they going to adopt those kids? Because I feel like they have a terrible life. But he's like has a really nice like heart to heart moment, and you don't usually see Clark do that like one on one with children.
Yeah.
With his own children, he's like fatherly, but not like that. Maybe because we never saw them that young.
Right.
But I just thought it was such a strange, like, touching moment. I was like, oh, Clark, if only you weren't such a creep.
I know. I just feel like that part is like so unnecessary. And forever when I used to watch this, that part with the girl in the lingerie section like creeps me the fuck out. Mostly because that girl is nasty. First of all,
she's a weird nose.
Her outfit, I cannot stand. Her like nasty bangs, I cannot stand. The fact that you would like hike up your skirt and like show someone essentially your butt cheeks when you're trying to sell underwear is like unbelievable to me.
She's not even. I thought wasn't she like at the jewelry counter?
No, it's like lingerie. It's a lingerie.
Why is the lingerie
counter.
at a counter?
I don't know. It's very, very strange. So the whole thing is like so nasty. And then when she comes back at like the dream sequence, when he's like, oh, look at my family enjoying this pool. It's like so nice. And then she just like plopped in there and strip teases. And then you see like a whole side of her boob. I'm like, what?
It's too much. It's too
Not
much.
funny.
Too much. All right. So what are your favorite funny parts?
Okay, so my favorite funny parts. So the part I laughed at the most and what I still talk about, I do love the sledding part. It's very brief, but for some reason that part like cracks me up. So they're like going sledding. It's like some big sledding hill, you know, a bunch of kids. They got like those big silver discs. So we had like ones like that, but they were plastic. Do you remember the red ones with like snowmen on them?
Oh, yes.
So that's like a cool kind of sled because they're pretty easy to work. You just sit on it and you go. You don't really like steer it. Yeah, the saucer. Rusty has a toboggan. Honestly, I've never sledded on that. I don't know what that's like.
We
Seems
had
like
that
a lot of
long,
work.
that long red
the
one.
long red one. Yeah. But that's like the toboggan's like the real deal because it has like what do you call it? Like tracks, like a
Steering,
sled.
brakes.
Yeah. It says brakes, does it?
I think it has brakes.
Anyway, so they have these like giant silver metal ones. So that looks like a real deal, right? So Clark, working at this food additive like place or whatever, he has some sort of kitchen lubricant that makes stuff like 500 times more slippery than like traditional oil or something like that. Something crazy. So he's like rubbing it all on the thing.
Mountains with snow aren't slippery enough.
Right, exactly. Like why do you go so fast? So he greases the whole thing up. He gets on. He's like, okay, kids, like we're trying this out. Like puts on his hood and like does it really tight, and it's like a fur hood, so it looks like kind of like a little Eskimo Inuit. And then he goes, later, dudes, hang 10, let her rip. Goes down the hill, and it's just like a flash of light because he goes so fast. And it's just like him like whipping through the forest. Oh my God. And he's just like, I don't know why that cracks me up. Like
into the street. Yeah, you love that. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Cracks me up. I just love the later dudes.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. That's your favorite. Would you say that's like your favorite part?
Yeah.
The part that you like most look forward to see?
I cracked up.
Okay. I think I liked the squirrel in the tree. I think that was very funny.
That would
to
be
me.
my second one.
I just think it was funny, like everyone's reactions. Would I have? I mean, so this summer we had a chipmunk in the garage, and everybody was a little similar in reaction. You're like, oh, and like it's like, but I, as usual, am the brave one with the rodents and helped him escape. But yeah, the squirrel was really panicked. I felt bad for him. I hope. Wait, did he get out? Yeah. But maybe the dog ate him. Maybe the dog ate him. I don't know. I thought the Christmas lights was really funny too. Again, I like a lot of the neighbors comedic stuff, specifically Julia Louis, JLD. There's this great part where, and there's a lot of moments like this in the movie where you're like, oh yeah, like that's so true. They get the Christmas lights out and it's just like a giant like rat's nest of like Christmas lights, and he's like, oh, little tangled,
Little not here.
yeah, little not here.
The whole thing is just like one giant ball. When I was looking for photos to put on my Instagram, so people have had Christmas vacation parties where you dress up like people. So like most people are Clark and Ellen or like the Randy Quaid character. And this guy just had this tangled ball of lights that he carried around the whole party.
I would have been the squirrel. That would be funny. But it reminded me, so let's ask you a random question. What was your random favorite job at the ice cream cafe? So we had all these like side jobs that were like, here are things you can do other than scooping
If
ice
you
cream.
want me to say untangling the aprons, you are right.
Yes. So we had like all these little not full aprons, just those like little.
This is the
half
ice cream
ones.
store we worked at
Yeah.
our whole lives.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So the uniform was like an ice cream cafe T-shirt, and then you would wear these green aprons. And they would tie it. They're just those little like half ones that just go around your waist. And for some reason, we would wear them like we would fold them. They're already pretty small, and we would fold them over and then tie them. What use did they really have? I
Why
don't
do
know.
we have to wear those?
So we didn't get ice cream. So if we had ice cream on our like wiped it.
like that.
I don't know. But anyways, so they would wash them obviously, and then what the wife, the woman who was married to the owner of the ice cream cafe, would like come in if you worked during the day. She'd like just have this like plastic bag and be like, "Who wants to untangle the aprons?" So they would wash them and then put them in the dryer, and then in the dryer cycle, all the not the strap,
Apron
the strings would get all tied together. So it was like this massive pile, like a puzzle. It was a giant puzzle where you had to like figure out how to untangle
There
it.
had to have been a better way.
And and people had their techniques, but I found it like very calming, and I would love to go in the back and just like slowly work my way out, and then once you get that one apron untangled, the rest
I
just
can't believe that was a job,
would
like
come
a
up-
side job, though. That's like insane. We were like paid to untangle
loved
aprons.
it. I mean, that's not what we did the whole time. It was like a 10-minute job.
But still 10 minutes, and we need to do.
It's
something
just
else.
all these little jobs, side jobs. Cut the brownies. Open the ice cream box, like fold the ice
There
cream
was the
boxes,
most,
like random
weirdest
things.
side jobs
Take the
there.
soft scrub, wash the scrub the chairs outside. You know, like it's little jobs, good times. Okay, should we play the game yet, or do you have other things you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. Later, dude. Okay, just some like couple things I want to say. Who is your favorite Audrey and Rusty? You can pick one from any movie. It doesn't have to be the same movie that you like.
Yeah. So after watching this, I agree with you. I think Juliette Lewis is probably the best Audrey. I did have to, even though I thought Audrey in European Vacation was really gross when I was little, I kind of liked her better when we rewatched it recently. Like I thought she was pretty funny.
But the one from Vacation like doesn't stand out to me as
No,
like
they
anything.
don't give her like
I
anything
know,
to do.
I know.
It's so strange. I still think I like Anthony Michael Hall the best as Rusty in the regular Vacation. I don't know. Like I just think he's like a better like epitome of. I do like Rusty in this, but again, I think he's too young, and it's weird that they flip their ages.
I think the Rusty character is supposed to be like the opposite of Clark. He's kind of like always like, okay, dad, no. Like he's always just calling the dad on the bullshit, which I feel like the guy in the first one does, but he's a little bit more naive.
No, he's a little more like. Remember when we watched that? We're like, he's kind of into him. Like
in the first
he likes
one,
his dad a lot.
Yeah, but still calls him out on like some stuff. The Rusty in Christmas Vacation doesn't seem to like him like that much at all, and really thinks his dad's kind of like dumb.
Oh, I thought he liked him. He was like trying to help him like as best he could.
No, but I think it's more like pity. It's not like, I think the Rusty in the first one really like admired him and almost like wanted to be like him. Whereas this one, he's kind of come around and been like, okay, my dad's kind of like, I love him, but he's like kind of dumb. But then that's why the European one makes no sense. Because like, what is that guy? What is that guy? And anything like that casting for both of them is just like, and I think the Audrey is supposed to be sort of like, parents, like that kind of a teenager, right?
I didn't get that sense of her in the other ones, though. That's the same thing. It's like her in Christmas, she's just so like anti-parents.
Yeah.
And I never got that sense in the other ones.
And she like kind of comes around at the end, but like
when the Christmas lights didn't go on, she was like generally felt like bad for her dad.
Okay.
It was like, you worked really. She like defends him, and when Ellen's parents are like, "Wow, great job, Clark!"
Right.
He worked really hard on those.
Yeah, right. So there's like
thought that
some
was surprising.
small like flashes of that, but mostly she's just like a pissed off teenager, which like everyone would be. I mean, she's very Liz Dumas.
Yeah.
Let's like be real. Like our sister was like that because we were like a little bit younger, and she was already in that time where she was like, ugh, family, and we weren't there yet. Yeah. So she was kind of like on that island of like teenager dumb by herself. I feel bad. Though I was like never really like that. Sorry, Liz.
Good for you.
You weren't either.
I know.
We just weren't
Because
like
we
that.
had each other.
Yeah, we had way too much fun. We were like always like little kids together.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good answer. I feel like John Hughes has a problem with like old people.
Yeah.
He makes them out to be like really gross.
Well, like really gross, really, really old.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people that you don't want to be around,
Right.
which is really like
Which is
unfair
so sad.
to your grandparents.
I know.
Like it was weird, and it makes me think that like I
They
mean,
were probably-
obviously filmmakers have creative license to like do this, but I think it's weird that like all of his movies have that element to it because like it just sets a like a bad example. Like, oh, all old people are gross. Like, it just made me sad.
And I will say I think that like old people has changed over the years because people are, first of all, like getting married later, and so like their parents are, I don't know, and people take care of themselves more now, right? So I'm assuming that the grandparents in this movie are probably the like age of like Carol, right? And like Carol is not like that at all. But people, as the generations go on, like take care of themselves so much more. Where you have like, I would say like one of our grandparents did seem very old to us. Like I think he was in his like late 70s, early 80s, but he seemed like ancient. And that's like what you do think of like as old people as like a little kid. But I think stuff has changed. But like, yeah, those like tropes of like, oh, they all have like corns and they snore and like there's all this like weird old people
and
stuff.
are like do creepy things with
And,
like
hey, give me a
teenage
kiss.
girls.
Or,
Like,
like-
wasn't there also a thing in the 16 Candles where
Yeah.
like he was like looking at her magazines?
Yes.
It's like I don't know. Like get a new thing. I don't know. It's just something is weird
Like
about
dirty
that to
old
me.
men.
And yeah, but it makes me think also of the like like the rapey stuff that he like sometimes puts in his movies, and I'm like, why do you have to put that in every movie? Like, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I respect him, but I think that he had some weird tendencies to patterns
and once,
and
as
stuff.
we have done, like seen so many John Hughes movies now, you're like you notice these patterns, and you're like, oh wow, you're kind of writing the same story all the time.
Totally.
God bless him. I mean, he great stuff, and it's just woven into like pop culture, but like they're kind of similar shit. Okay, and then yes, Eddie is the grossest to me. I think he's disgusting. I think it's a brilliant role played by Randy Quaid, though. I'm not gonna like take that away from him. He does it like awesome and to a T. And like you said, I think that could be really his personality. Apparently, he based it on some real person that he knew where he grew up in Texas. So,
AKA himself.
no, I mean Eddie is out there, but like down to like his costuming is like on point. You know, you have those like the hat with like the ear flaps that he like wears all the time. He has this like tiny little bathrobe he walks like around in. He has a very dated clothing, so he's basically like dressing in the 70s. So like all his stuff is really tight. He wears like a blue leisure suit to Christmas Eve. He has those white shoes from the first one. He's burping. They have the dog named Snot, who's like, you know, has
a
all
snot
this snot problems. His kids are kind of fucked up. Like they have this busted RV. Like they don't have any money.
Yeah.
You know,
He hasn't had a job in 7 years.
He's just like such a hot mess, and he never says the right things, and it's like you want to think he is naive and just kind of dumb, but I think he is kind of a con artist.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not like really as dumb as he's like trying to like claim.
Every
he is.
movie he like reaped some benefit
Yeah.
from Clark, so that
Yeah.
he's in. So.
But it's a brilliant performance, and it's really funny, but it still makes me like really sick. And there's like a lot of really gross things in this movie, down to like that disgusting dog who's like barfing under the table and then like eating the trash and then chasing around the squirrel. And then there's the part where Eddie's like pumping like raw sewage like into the sewer, and it's just like basically like poop juice like coming out of the hose, and I'm just like trying to eat my like pizza
don't
today, and I'm
see
like,
it coming out of the
yes
hose
you
or
do.
anything.
You see the poop juice. It was disgusting.
I didn't see the poop
Yeah,
juice, the
it was-
glowing green stuff.
No, when he's putting the pipe, he's just kind of has it like put into
Yeah.
the sewer.
But you
There's
don't
poop
see
juice.
stuff come
Yeah,
out.
you see poop
You
juice
do?
coming out of there. Looks like a poop milkshake. It's
Ew.
nasty. It's so gross.
It's gross.
The whole thing is just like gross.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that. And then like lastly, I never noticed this. I thought they just like were fun little mugs, but there's a scene where they are drinking eggnog. So him and Clark, and it's kind of like funny. And they're drinking out of like these moose mugs, which are really cute because they have like it's a moose with antlers, and you use the antlers as like a little handle. But they said that was like an ode to Wally World.
Cute.
A moose.
Cute.
Yeah.
Was there an ode to their European vacation somewhere?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I didn't see what noticed in
Damn
the trivia,
it.
but probably.
Well, I know. Audrey was wearing a beret in the beginning when they were. Maybe it was her Audrey beret. I don't know. Okay, it's time for the jam of the month club yet.
So Clark, as his like consolation bonus, gets a year's subscription to the Jams and Jellies of the Month Club. So the only thing that went through my head was, are there 12 jellies that you could possibly get for a whole year? Let's name 12 jellies. Okay. Jam or jellies?
Okay. Strawberry.
Yep. I'll keep track.
I thought we were going to go back and forth.
Oh, okay. I'll still keep track. Strawberry. I got marmalade. Is that jelly?
Wow, you went coming in hot with the marmalade. Second pick. Wow. Raspberry.
Blueberry.
Currant. Why not?
Boysenberry.
Boysenberry. Blackberry. I got one.
Mint.
Yeah, that was right.
Okay, we're up to 8.
What about like not a spice, like a orange spice jelly?
Okay.
I don't know. Seemed like something that could happen.
So when I was in,
I got another one.
okay, do one more.
Oh, an apple jelly.
Okay,
We've seen that.
Good one.
Grape. Did we do grape?
We didn't do grape.
We didn't do grape.
11.
Oh my God.
One more.
We're already at 11.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Peach.
maybe peach or apricot.
Apricot
jelly jam.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. There's enough.
So
It's
when
just,
I was
like,
in,
not that interesting.
I went to Vermont like a couple months ago. My boyfriend's aunt and uncle lived there, so it's like this cute little town, and there was like a little fair, fall fair or whatever. So we go, and there was like a place that had literally that many jellies, all crazy ones. And there was this one
Jelly
called
of the
like
month.
Christmas jelly. It was this like crazy red one made with maraschino cherries.
Maraschino cherries don't seem very Christmassy.
It wasn't jelly. It was called Christmas pickles, and it was pickles, but it was like sweet pickles, but with like they were red and they're made with like cherry juice and vinegar. It was very strange, very very strange.
Yeah.
But they had tons and tons of jellies there. That's where I came up with boysenberry.
Next time I go to the grocery store, which is tomorrow, we'll look in the jelly section.
There's probably
and take a
even more.
picture for everyone.
What's your favorite jelly?
I think I'm a raspberry.
Seed or no seed?
No seed. Raspberry seeds are a huge
Yeah,
nuisance to
they're
me,
annoying.
and they get stuck like in this your molars, and then they're there all day, and you can't
They're
get them
there
out
all year. You're
yeah,
like, oh my
it's
God.
the worst. So yeah, definitely for sure seedless.
Yeah, I was always raspberry, but sometimes I'll have either strawberry or grape. and be
Strawberry's
like,
classic.
Those are good.
I never have grape jelly.
Oh my God,
I don't
grape
know
jelly with peanut butter is
why.
delicious.
I was never a peanut butter and jelly person.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
why.
I love peanut
Just
butter and
straight
grape
peanut
jelly.
butter.
Like really
Peanut
makes
butter
my
and
life.
fluff.
Never liked marmalade or like apricot.
Marmalade.
Marmalade's orange.
Reminds me of Grammy and Grandpa. Like,
Yeah.
didn't Grammy always have like marmalade?
Yeah. Seems like an
Yeah.
old person
Yeah.
thing. Speaking of old people, stereotype marmalade.
But yeah,
That's funny.
That's
I mean, I wouldn't say no to a jelly and jam of the month club. I'd
We
certainly
were, and
want
I would say
$20,000
yes to a Jelly Belly of the Month Club, which Sweety and I were both in. If you remember, I'm sure we told that story.
I would basically be in for any of the month club.
Sweety joined a Record of the Month Club, and she
Oh,
gets
yeah.
records once a month.
6 records.
Six
once a
records.
month for
Good deal.
$25.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I just like love that idea. Of
Birchbox. We still get it. We still do things like
Oh,
that.
I don't do Birchbox.
No, but we use.
That's always
but
such a
it's the same
Christmas
thing.
present thing.
Yeah.
Like look like
To yourself.
No, like that's like such a guy one is really easy to shop for, like a beer of the month club or like what's another like guy one? Beer. I don't know, for cheese of the month club. I once almost got someone a macaroni and cheese of the month club or popcorn of the month club.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. The other thing I wanted to bring up was company Christmas presents. So they have this whole thing with like, oh, what did you get from the company this year or whatever. And that used to be like a thing. Like if you worked for like a big corporate company, like you would get something. So our father was a pharmacist and worked for CVS for many years. And every Christmas we would get like this box of this Christmas gift from CVS. And it was like our favorite thing to be like, oh, the CVS gift is here. Let's open it. And like, it was so much fun. And it started like in the beginning, the stuff was great. Like it was like those were nice presents. Like it was just like one time I remember it was like this big tin of presents inside. And there's like these like those hard candies that only I like, the old people and I like a lot. And then
Old soul.
yeah, there was like this little ceramic candy dish that Sweety fondly remembers that had like
had
a
forever.
wagon. Yeah, had like a sleigh on it or something, and we would fill it with the Christmas M&Ms every year. Just like random things that were probably not very nice, but we thought they were cool as fuck, like little digital clocks or something. One year we got this little mini TV. It was like the size of a Game Boy, basically, and it had a stand and an antenna. And you put the batteries in it, and then if you got a signal, there's like 2 channels on it.
Oh, it was horrible.
One time we got like the Golden Girls, and we were like, "This is the future." And I remember I brought it in my room, and I put it on my bedside table, and then I like pretended that like I was like with my husband, who was like this stuffed bear, and I was like pretending to like watch TV in bed, and I was like, I feel so adult, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
Laptops were to come.
How times have
And
changed,
smartphones.
and just TVs like in the bedroom. It was just so funny. But progressively each year you got like less and less stuff, and then finally I don't think we got anything like whatever the last year he worked at CVS
Bummer.
was. But again, like I said, this was the 90s, man. The 90s, nothing was wrong.
The economy was amazing.
They're like, you get a Christmas bonus, you get a Christmas bonus, here's our Christmas gift.
Be like a white collar worker.
Yeah.
I feel like you really got
Yeah.
like some
And
good
now
shit.
we get nothing.
Okay, last Christmas memory. Remember we had like a little bit the little village kind of
Ugh,
things
those
on
are
the
my
mantle.
favorite. Mom still
Where,
has
like,
those.
Mom would like
They'll
set
be
up the
there.
little houses, and some people like go to town with those. There's Yankee Candle, if everyone's familiar with Yankee Candles, right? So like the headquarters is in Western Massachusetts. So like I went there last year, and they have like a whole village set up of all those. It's like insane. And people will buy them and decorate their whole house with these like mini little towns. We only had like 3 or 4 of them,
We had a
right?
bunch,
like on the
yeah.
mantle. But it was so fun. So we like set up the little houses, and they were like all lit up, and they were so cozy.
And then you turn them off and you go to bed. You're like, time to turn off the houses. I loved it. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, it was like the
we had a
little
lot of
click
really
one.
like fun Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
The like little gingerbread man
The nutcrackers.
things, the nutcrackers, good stuff.
The gingerbread. Oh my god,
I-
the little bows.
Yeah, I loved them. I love those.
Sorry, we're just like going to
Just
nostalgia town.
reminiscing.
So yeah, this is a great movie, guys. Not available on any streaming services for free. Sad, had to rent it. But Christmas classic, new Christmas classic, well, old Christmas classic. But like, there's this time was pretty ripe, I guess. The movie Prancer and this one came out in the same year. These are the 2 big Christmas movies. Of this year.
Never even heard of that.
I think it's about a reindeer.
Well, duh, but like, what is it? Is it
I don't know.
a kids movie?
Maybe we should watch it.
I know.
So yeah, really good, and like I said, my favorite National Lampoon. So I hope you get to watch it. Hope you put you in the Christmas spirit. And yeah,
Cool.
cool.
Come find us on Twitter at The Sweety Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you as always for listening. Bye. Bye. Repartis. Merry Christmas.